Alright, let's see if I could get this to work without missing any critical details, and also making sure I get everything out there that I need to, while not getting a 0 on this assignment. So anyways, I'll first start off by saying this is the If I Were to Rule the World part 2 of the presentation. And after reading the document, what young people criticize most about the government, it clearly shows that young people today are deeply frustrated with the government, citing corruption, lack of transparency, failure to act on climate change, inequality, and politicians who seem more interested in power than progress, which, unfortunately, I agree with a lot of those views as well. Also, in this presentation, I'm going to lay out, my vision for what would be an ideal government, one that is definitely more responsive, has more representation, and is more focused towards the future. With that being said, I think there should be reforms in certain structure, representation as well, media regulation, and also civic engagement that directly responds to the criticisms by young people and even my own peers, some of my own peers, shall I say. With that being said, my ideal government would blend democratic views and values with technological efficiency because of how advanced technology has become. But I would also have it be a hybrid, so to say, government, where, like I said in my first video, elected representatives would make, value-based decisions, but these policies would be implemented and overseen by expert panels such as scientists, economists, and educators who are chosen through, us, extremely rigorous peer nomination and citizen approval. And I think we would also, like I mentioned, creating that app in the first video, I think I would do the same thing, have that peer nomination and citizen approval go through an app so those decisions can't even sway anyone to vote for one person or not to, or vote for this expert and not this expert. Also, elections, they would be in proportion. So not a winner takes all kind of deal. I would for sure limit terms in every sector and part of the government, for any office, government office. Also, I think a big thing that aren't as popular in our society that I would try to implement more of if I was to rule the world was youth councils that would be launched on local and national levels, with real, actual legislative input and power. Like I said before, again, with those youth councils that I'd add in as well. I would use digital platforms, to have deliberative forums and secure electronic voting, which would allow for, I believe, an even broader participation in the government. Climate-wise, honestly, I would attempt to figure out the best ways to use renewable energy sources that aren't damaging our earth at such a rapid rate that we are. Also, to address economic inequality throughout. If I was to rule the world, honestly, I would have a universal basic income attached to what I was speaking on in the first video, where say you needed something at the store and you couldn't afford it, but yet you don't have no money on your credit card, or your credit score is a little under average, so you're not being approved by any credit lender. I would allow you to have access to money and them resources in order to get you through until you were able to get paid. Also, I would definitely implement certain tax reforms to close certain loopholes that there are in our government right now. Also, honestly, as probably unpopular of a view this is, there would be more ways for people to cancel their student loan debts, and there would be more opportunities for that, should I say, because honestly, I believe since we are taking that risk and investment into our education and higher education and future, I believe there should be reward, such as certain student debt cancellation programs. Also, a big thing also that I would be strict on with the world if I was to rule it would be media and transparency. I would establish a very how do I say it? Independent and public media panel that has a standard set of enforcement no matter what side you sway towards. And then I would build my punishments with the media based on the situation and what they were accused or found guilty of doing. Like I said, also voting would actually start way younger than what it is now. I would have voting actually begin at 16, and I would integrate right then at that early age, civic education, especially with digital literacy. And then basically, like I said, to add to that civic engagement part, inside that app, there'd be, a civic portal that would be considered a dashboard that shows policies, town hall dates, real-time legislative tracking. Social media influencers would also be incentivized to promote fact-based civic engagement. Comparing to existing governments that I really admire, honestly, I admire Finland's education model, which places a real high trust in teachers and equitable funding. I would adapt this system as well to foster critical thinking, and informed voters and thinkers. Also, like I mentioned in my media bias video, I also like the UK's media regulation system, Ofcom, which ensures more accuracy and ethical standards in journalism. That's what inspired my media oversight body that I would use. Honestly, not a lot of people want to believe me with this either, but in the next 50 years, AI will power more efficient governance, automating bureaucracy, and providing real-time feedback on legislation's effects. Direct democracy will be verified via online platforms, which could let citizens vote on major issues regularly, but this only works if paired with strong education and protections against manipulation. Social media will continue to shape politics. Also, with that being said, it must evolve to reward truth over outrage. And speaking as a young adult myself, young people can and should, and I believe we must build decentralized platforms that hold these tech giants accountable, and we got to be able to start running for office ourselves, which will help us close the gap, especially when someone who is, so much older and not used to how day-to-day life operates now, the pace of life, like I said, with technology advancements and how quick media is spread, or news is spread by the media, we got to have that young, informed individual inside these offices making decisions, not not trying to sound rude or disrespectful, but, these elderly politicians who are no longer in touch with, reality in everyday life. So basically, with that being said, like I said, my ideal government, fuses, democratic legitimacy with, expert execution, amplifying youth voices. And let's get back, if there ever was a point, or let's at least try to get to a point where it's complete transparency and civic trust. As simple as it may sound, but in order to get there, we got to act on it. Speak up, vote, educate others, support candidates who reflect our values. Reform starts when citizens, especially us young ones, stop waiting and start building. And not a lot of us have, at least as far as I've noticed, wanted to go in above and beyond and become a positive politician, or a positive policymaker or change maker. I just see a lot of, unfortunately, young adults, like myself, who have just ran to social media and become social media politicians. And unfortunately, as powerful as social media it is, it's not the end all be all. So it's not going to make certain changes that we need to get done, changed, and made happen. So with that being said, thank you for listening, and you have a good day.